Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Sunday, September 29th, 2019 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I keep coming back to balance. And we're coming off new moon energy, so we go into a waxing state of the moon, building, growing energies, but we definitely have some things to look out for. Namely, there is a little connection going on between the moon, Venus, and Pluto. Now, technically, Venus and Pluto tomorrow are going to be in the square. So Monday evening, they're going to meet in the square. But the moon is really lighting up the potential of this square today. So this is something that we're going to be working on through these next 2 days. So things of note, moon in Venus, moon energy. It reveals emotions. It reveals things that are potentially hidden. In the sign of Libra, did I say moon and Venus? In the sign of Libra, that's where the moon is, this can definitely affect us on that worth level. It can definitely affect the yin energy. And Venus and Pluto moving into this square, Venus in Libra, is also doing that. Pluto also has kind of that hidden agenda. Pluto can ultimately take us into our power, but usually we have to experience where we've given that power away. We have to experience where we may still carry victim energy within ourselves. And what's coming up with this is really, it is around the yin, whether you identify as male, female, or wherever on the gender scale, we all have yin energy within us. And a lot of times the yin is accused of being too much, not enough. And in fact, because of a lot of our conditioning, we tend to even cut ourselves down. And that's really the thing that I'm looking at. It's not so much the too muches that you've gotten from outside or the not enoughs or any of those criticisms. It's really where you kind of cut yourself off, cut yourself back, keep yourself as the outsider, that keep you from really blooming into what truly is enough and asked for. We all have this bushel of energy that needs to be released into the world. And this is where we're kind of at in regards to it. And so this is bringing our awareness. This is bringing our consciousness to these places. Be aware of those thoughts. Be aware of where your worth has been cut down, whether it is by yourself or by anybody else. And again, this will be going over the next 2 days, but this square is an opportunity to bring back your power. It may rub you raw. You may even have to face oh my gosh, I can't believe I've done this to myself. I can't believe because of this thing, I've kept myself in this bushel. So just bring your awareness to that. Moon and Venus, when they come together, especially in the sign of Libra, there is this desire for pleasure. There is a desire for yin fulfillment. And yet we may experience the opposite of that to help us bring into balance. So we do notice where we're keeping ourselves outside of fully blooming into that energy. Remember, to get into balance, we do have to spend some time noticing where we're throwing ourselves out of balance. It's not always the finger pointing, God, universe did this, or that person did this, or my family did this, or this is my ancestry. You are now responsible, so you get to see, well, where can I take the steps? Where can I make the changes? Where can I be actionable in and through this energy? What I love is that Saturn and the South Node have passed. They are now shifting away from each other. So hopefully we have faced these patterns and we are in the business of making changes. Hopefully we are in the business of utilizing North Node in Cancer, nurturing ourselves, being kind to ourselves, and leaving in the past what needs to be left in the past. Let's see, Moon in Libra is also making several other connections through the day. We've got a Saturn square early in the day. That's part of this conditioning. This conditioning has not just affected one of us. This conditioning has affected a lot of us. And a lot of times you can see, if you're on social media, there are people who our leaders, our influencers opening up, how they were scared, how they were held back, where they had to face their shadows. We all have this, no matter whose life may look perfect. So be aware of that conditioning and be aware of any comparison that comes up for you, because that's just an illusion. This is really about you. You showing up in your best light. Moon squaring Pluto, like I said, preparing us for this Venus-Pluto square. Be aware of any control edges coming from outside of yourself with this. How do you take back your power? How do you stand in balance with and for yourself? Finally, we end the day with the moon connecting to Mercury. Mercury in Libra. Hopefully this will bring some ahas. Beyond illusion. Exactly. Where we can get beyond illusion. Like, oh my gosh, I've been acting as if this was too much, and really, it wasn't. This was true expression. Or I was acting like it wasn't enough, and wow, my best is always enough. There's so many different places where you can look at this. We just have to look at those illusions that we've carried. And again, where others may have cut us down at some point, but we have then continued to cut ourselves down. One last thing I want to mention. I do have the Lover's card in reverse. But Venus has been going through it. Like the last week or so, week and a half, Venus has made a lot of challenging connections. And so this Pluto one really kind of finalizes it and is about taking back the power. But if you have been struggling in relationship, whether it is romantic relationship or the other, this is definitely part of it. So how do you come back into balance within yourself? That is one of the major lessons. And how do you also trust that where you're at, it is enough and it is not too much. All right, so that is it for today. You can always book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. And besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you, and you do have the power. Namaste.